What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the season so far, 2017, how it's gone and what to look forward to for the rest of the year. Thank God the bye is over. I was bored out of my brains and footy was just not the same without Port. It was just boring. You know, the Magpies didn't do too well in the SANFL. My AFL fantasy is horrible. And there was just not a lot of enjoyment from the weekend. So I'm glad that we get Thursday night this week against Geelong. We get to prime time in front of the nation and we're first. So we can get, that bye, the hatred from the bye over. So we get some footy back. Obviously it's a Thursday night, so we'll go into the weekend with no Port. But if we win, won't matter, will it? We'll just be happy. And we can celebrate all weekend. But the season so far, what I've taken from the first 8 games is we've found our form again. We're able to continually persist in the areas that we need improvement, and we continue to improve in them, and we're able to execute them as well, which is a good trait to have. And it's shown with the first 8 games, we've started the season with a bang. We've beaten the teams we should beat. Sydney aren't the best anymore, but round 1 to go up there with no expectations from the outside or in, and to knock them off at the SCG proved we were capable. We've shown improvement so far for this year, and to back it up at home against Freo, couldn't quite get it over the line in the showdown. GWS, we were there until the last quarter. Carlton, Brisbane, Polar, absolutely smacked them. West Coast we should have beaten. That's probably the most disappointing game of the year, I'd say. It's a game we should have won, and we let it slip due to our poor kicking. And then obviously the historic clash in Shanghai against the Gold Coast, where we smacked them out of the park, showed the Chinese how good we are and how good of a club we are to be showcasing our great game over there. So we did a fantastic job, and I'd say for so far, definitely a pass mark for 2017. Yep, it's only 8 games. Still can't really read into much at this stage, but beating those teams and getting some confidence to go into after the bye is really going to help. And with some telling games coming up after the bye, we're in a good position to set ourselves up for later on in the year, when essentially we'll need these wins to carry on to try and make the top 8, or even if we're in the case, in the circumstance, top 4. And one of those key ways of Port Adelaide is defence, and our defence is the best in the league at this current stage. Yeah, we're only a game behind, but still, if we concede 100 points, we'll still be the best defence in the league according to numbers. 599 points conceded in 8 games, which is less than, I think, 80 in total for every game, which is phenomenal, especially against some of the teams we've played where we have conceded over 100 points, but we've kept the teams that we have beaten to below 70, 60 points, which is fantastic for our defensive work. So, and not only that, but moving the ball coast to coast is another thing we've improved on a lot. Our kicking's improved infield. Yeah, our goal kicking is not the best at the moment, and that's probably one of the things we need to improve on the most at this stage. But everything else is going pretty smoothly, and it helps as well with players like Sam Gray, Carl Amon, Brendan Archie, who's just come in. We've got players like Pollock returning to form. Wingard's looking good in the midfield. Robbie Gray up forward has his moments as well. The captain's back to form. Brad Ebert's having a sensational year. Ollie Wines is continuing to be Ollie Wines. Westhoff is finding his feet again. And it's just all these players that were lost over the last couple of years are showing form. And we've pushed players out like Aaron Young, who was going okay, but kicked him out of the side because he was just not up to the standard. And when players like that are kicked out, it shows that we are in good form and moving quite well, which is good to see. And our stars are playing quality footy too, so we're going well. As I've learnt so far for 2017, we are genuine contenders for this year. but we need to prove it against the top team. So far, we've lost to the GWS Giants, lost to the Crows, and lost to the Eagles, all in games which, well, I won't say should have won, but at least 1-2 of those we definitely were capable of taking it out. Probably the most notable ones will be the Showdown, and the Eagles game. The Eagles game points out for me because they're probably on a similar level to us, and the way they played against Essendon, it hurts that game even more because we should have won. But we didn't because we couldn't kick straight and we didn't play to our strengths. And it was just a game that really got away from us, and we were just playing catch up the whole time. And it's hard to explain that game, but it was a game we definitely need to win. So we need to beat a top 4 team. Geelong, in Geelong this week. It's the showcase game of round 10, Indigenous round. We need to take at least one of these teams. Otherwise, if we lose this week, then essentially we've lost to the Giants, the Eagles, the Crows, and the Cats, which are all teams above us. And we don't want to be playing catch-up later in the year. So we need to take advantage of the fact that we are only a game behind, but everyone else has got a bye because we are essentially, we already had our bye. So if we win this week, then we're right up there and setting ourselves up brilliantly for later in the season against, when we have an easier draw going into the latter rounds. So, yeah, that's essentially what we need to do to prove that we are contenders. I believe we are, but it's just really up to us to prove if we're contenders or not. So, hopefully we win this week against Geelong and we can have a great weekend. So, another thing that I've learnt so far from 2017, for the first 8 games, would have to be players like Ebert, Dixon, Boak, Jonas, Wingard are thriving. They're thriving in their positions. Jonas is having a breakout year. Ebert's having a career best year. Dixon's showing why we bought him in the first place. Boak's leadership is fantastic, and he's showing fantastic form, considering he missed a game from injury as well. And Wingard in the midfield is proving that he's showing his full potential and he's living up to that midfield status. You know, he was drafted for, because a lot of people don't know, he was drafted as a midfielder, and, you know, put him forward, kicked so many goals, kicked so many great goals, proved he was really built for the forward line, but now he's developing an engine where he can run all day and be in the midfield. So he is proving himself very well this year. And obviously players like Sam Gray, Carl Amon are keeping their side for a reason. Carl Amon, for me, is, especially over the last 3 weeks, he was dropped against West Coast, which still to this day I think was the worst decision possible for that game. Aaron Young was kept in a week too long, and it proved against Gold Coast in Shanghai, where Carl played brilliantly, 26 disposals and a goal, and he's showing his skill level, which is good, because personally he's one of my favourites, which I've developed this year for some reason. But you know how you develop not a love, but a liking to a player specifically because of what they do, how they go about it and stuff. Carl Amon's for me, and you'll hear it in the Portraits podcast every week or so. I always continue to mention him because, yeah, it's Carl. It's the Carl. Gotta love the Carl. But another thing I learnt for this year so far, goal kicking. I've said it previously in all the other reviews and stuff I've done. We need to improve our goal kicking. And if we don't, then we're going to continually to lose ourselves games because of it. West Coast was a key one for me, obviously for everyone. The Crows was another one we should have won. And yeah, just other games where we've continued to miss shots. We've won games, but proven that our goal kicking is probably the most top of the list to improve on so far. But other than that, I haven't really, got anything really bad to say for this year so far. That's it's good compared to the last couple of years where about this time we've been like, well, we're already playing catch up. We need to win. And every week was a game that we needed to win. Whereas now it's like, well, we still need to win it, but there's a cushion there where it's, you know, if we lose, it's a softer blow than it was over the last couple of years where we were continually trying to find form. And by the time we found form, it was already too late because we already lost too many games, cost ourselves too many games. So this year we need to, you know, take those opportunities. And we have so far, which is very good. And it's showing signs for us going into the rest of the year and hopefully into September. So moving on to the season ahead. Round 10, Indigenous round against Geelong. We must win this game. For you know, to prove ourselves. I'm not saying it's a must win because we have to, because it's life or death, but it's a must win game if we're going to prove ourselves as genuine contenders for 2017. You knock off Geelong, you come back home to Adelaide Oval, you play the Hawks, then you play the Bombers at Etihad, which is no walk in the park either, and then you play Brisbane at home, and then you go to Collingwood. Go to the MCG against Collingwood. All games we can win. So we need to beat Geelong to give ourselves that confidence moving forward. Improvement is still needed, but it's a good sign that it's not as much as we need, which is fantastic to see. So, Charlie, Robbie, Travis, Ebo continue to do what they do, and we'll keep moving forward. I'd just like to apologise for the lighting. It's a horrible day in Adelaide today, and I needed to do this video today, otherwise it would never come out. So I do apologise for that. I'll do as much editing as I can in a short period of time. But anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate all the support I've been getting lately. I'm very, very, very grateful for it. And share these videos, get it out to all the Port fans out there so we continue to enjoy this journey of Port Adelaide in 2017. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Anthony. Join me at 8 PM Wednesdays on the Portress podcast, where we'll be discussing more about the Geelong game and the future of this year. So, and I've said it again. Thanks very much for watching, and obviously, go the power.